She's so sweet, so nice. It's nice to kind of get to spend some time with her. We've messaged a little on Instagram beforehand, but to get to spend some time with her and to see the influence that she has on people, bring people out here, and to see how amazing an influence she is just for sports was really cool to see first.
She exploded onto the scene like a supernova, shattering records and rewriting the history books before her first season was even over. Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she electrified it. Arenas that were once half empty were suddenly sold out, with fans paying hundreds of dollars just to catch a glimpse of her magic. Television ratings skyrocketed, breaking decades-old viewership records. She was a generational talent, a marketing goldmine dropped right into the league's lap.
And now, as an amateur golfer, Caitlin Clark is changing the way that people think about women golf.
But as her rookie year reached its climax, a strange and unsettling narrative began to emerge. While Caitlin Clark was single-handedly bringing more eyes to women's basketball than ever before, the league itself seemed almost hesitant to embrace her. A quiet frustration began to simmer among her millions of fans. They watched as she received what many called a shocking lack of recognition from the very organization she was lifting to new heights. But what they would witness next, in a completely different sport altogether, would expose this growing divide for the entire world to see, and would leave everyone asking one burning question: why was the WNBA fumbling its most valuable player? Stick around, because the story of what's really happening behind the scenes is about to be exposed.
LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did.
The evidence of this disconnect started piling up almost immediately, creating a chasm between fan expectations and league actions that seemed to widen with every broken record. After a historic rookie season, where she averaged 19 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds, becoming the only player in league history to hit over 100 three-pointers and 300 assists, the moment of celebration felt strangely hollow, almost like an afterthought. The announcement of her Rookie of the Year award, an achievement that should have been a massive promotional event for the entire league, was made not on a gleaming court surrounded by media flashbulbs and roaring fans, but in a vacant, silent gym. The setting was shockingly austere. There was no grand ceremony, no live broadcast to honor the league's new superstar, no montage of her incredible highlights set to inspiring music. It was a quiet, almost administrative affair, the kind of presentation you might expect for an internal Employee of the Month award, not for a generational talent who had just moved the needle for an entire sport. For fans, this was the first major red flag, a visual representation of a deeper problem. It wasn't just a missed opportunity. It felt like a deliberate downplaying of her success, a refusal to acknowledge that she was different, that she was special.
You pick up little pointers here and there, and to me that's inspirational. Whether it, just listening to Caitlin, her work ethic and what's important to her, and I mean she's just starting, her round of golf. If her journey. She's just teed off on hole 1 or 2. I've made the turn already.
Social media erupted with criticism as clips of the empty gym presentation went viral for all the wrong reasons. One viral tweet perfectly captured the mood, stating, "Asterisk, the WNBA is acting like Caitlin Clark is just another player when she's clearly the entire game." Asterisk, this was the beginning of a glaring contradiction that everyone could see, a league being carried by a star it seemed reluctant to crown. The moment was supposed to be a coronation. Instead, it felt like a dismissal, leaving supporters to wonder if the league truly understood the value of the asset it possessed, or if internal politics were preventing them from celebrating her properly. This single event became a powerful symbol, a story told not in words, but in the stark emptiness of a room that should have been filled with applause. Now, let's jump to a sun-drenched golf course at the LPGA's Annika Pro-Am, where the atmosphere couldn't have been more different. While the WNBA was presenting awards in empty rooms, a different women's sports league was rolling out the red carpet in a stunning display of strategic savvy. The LPGA didn't just invite Caitlin Clark to play. They built the entire event around her star power, understanding that her presence was a tidal wave of attention they could ride to new heights.
Come say hi. I need to introduce myself. I play out here on tour. I'm Maria. Thank you for being out here. It's very cool what you're doing for sports, kicking ass on and off the field. But now,
and here's the Caitlin Clark effect, Morgan, with Maria Fossey and other players out here following.
That's good. A lot of fun. Made it easy. Annika, could I steal you for a second? I don't think I'll have like bigger. I can't say bad stuff on TV, but badasses. I want together. We're doing a fun like quickie. On that side. There we go. Yeah. I'm next. Yes. 1, 2, 3.
In a move of pure marketing genius, they paired her with Nelly Korda, the #1 ranked female golfer in the entire world. This wasn't coincidence. It was a strategic masterstroke that created an irresistible storyline. The queen of the court teaming up with the queen of the course. The LPGA ensured Caitlin received VIP treatment from the moment she arrived, seamlessly integrating her into their world. They even adjusted the Golf Channel's broadcast schedule to provide live coverage of her round, something almost unheard of for a Pro-Am event, ensuring her millions of fans could follow her every move. Social media was flooded with clips and highlights of her every swing, from powerful drives to delicate putts, all framed as must-see television. The message was clear and unequivocal. Caitlin Clark was a headline attraction, a main event.
Hi, Caitlin.
I said it, the buzz from the players
over here, so. I'm distracting you.
for weeks
No, y'all are trying to get
has
finished.
been huge.
Somebody take this picture.
By the way, Allie, an outstanding point guard in her own right in Fulton, Mississippi. All state
Thanks for being here. Yeah. Good luck.
in that sport as well.
And the biggest stars in golf were her loudest cheerleaders, offering public endorsements that felt both genuine and enthusiastic. Nelly Korda herself gushed, "I didn't watch basketball before Caitlin. She's phenomenal." A statement that spoke volumes about Clark's crossover appeal. Tournament host and legend Annika Sörenstam called her an inspiration for every woman in sports, framing her impact in the broadest and most meaningful terms.
Need to be with, two of the best to, probably ever play this game. It's super fun and special for me. Like, I'm a fan of both of them, but a fan of, all the women on this tour. I think it's absolutely incredible. So it's special for myself.
The LPGA was doing more than just welcoming an athlete. They were celebrating a cultural phenomenon. And in doing so, they were brilliantly introducing their own stars and their sport to a massive, brand new audience. They saw the bigger picture, recognizing that a rising tide lifts all boats, and they had just welcomed the biggest tide in women's sports. Back in the world of basketball, the glowing reports from the golf course were not being met with applause, but with what insiders described as a growing sense of fury and frustration within the WNBA's headquarters. But the anger, curiously, wasn't directed at Caitlin for participating. Instead, league officials were reportedly fuming that the LPGA had so effectively and publicly showcased what they themselves had failed to do, holding up a mirror to their own promotional shortcomings. So, what was fueling this internal resentment? Speculation from sports analysts and insiders points to a deep-seated conflict within the league's culture, a struggle between old-school, team-first ideologies and the modern reality of star-driven economics. Some sources suggest that certain veteran players felt eclipsed by the overwhelming media and fan focus on Olympic, creating subtle but significant pressure on the league to promote the collective over any one individual. This fostered an environment where highlighting Clark too much was seen as disrespecting the established veterans who had built the league. Others placed the blame squarely on leadership, accusing them of a catastrophic failure in marketing vision and a fundamental lack of agility. The league's commissioner, Kathy Angelbert, has often spoken about the need to balance stories and avoid putting a single player on a pedestal, a philosophy rooted in an egalitarian view of team sports. But while this philosophy aims for unity and harmony, it completely ignores a fundamental, time-tested rule of sports entertainment. Transcendent superstars are what drive interest, revenue, and cultural relevance. They are the entry point for casual fans who then learn to love the rest of the league. The WNBA, it seemed, was so afraid of upsetting its internal ecosystem or being accused of favoritism that it was willing to let its golden goose fly away, or worse, watch another league build a golden cage for her. This brings us to the core of the conflict, a stark clash of philosophies that represents two very different paths for the future of women's sports. On one side, you have the LPGA, which saw Caitlin Clark not merely as a basketball player, but as a crossover tidal wave of attention, a cultural force that transcended her primary sport. They instinctively understood that her presence could bring millions of basketball fans to the golf course, and that once there, those new viewers would be introduced to the incredible talents of stars like Nelly Korda and Annika Sörenstam. They capitalized on her moment with precision and confidence, and in doing so, elevated the profile of their entire sport.
I said it, the
She was
buzz
a
from the
bold,
players.
confident, and opportunistic strategy that screamed,
No, y'all are trying to
"We
get
are
past
ready
me.
for a
Huge.
moment."
take this picture.
On the other side, the
By the way,
WNBA
Allie and
appears trapped in a
point guard in
timid,
her own right
outdated
in Fulton,
mindset,
Mississippi.
seemingly paralyzed by the very stardom they helped
All
bring.
state
Thanks for having
Their
me
approach
here.
seems to be
Good
one
luck.
of caution
In that
and
sport
control,
as well.
afraid of the raw, market-disrupting power that Caitlin possesses. Instead of building a bigger platform for everyone around their undeniable superstar, they seem to be trying to fit her into a smaller, pre-existing box, asking her to conform to a system that cannot contain her impact. This isn't just about a poorly staged trophy presentation. It's about a fundamental misunderstanding of how modern sports leagues grow and capture the public's imagination. The NBA never shied away from promoting Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Stephen Curry. They understood that those individual stars became the league's identity, and that their success and fame meant success and visibility for every other player and team. The WNBA's refusal to apply the same proven playbook with Caitlin Clark isn't just confusing observers. It's a strategic blunder of monumental proportions that could have long-term consequences for growth and cultural relevance. And the cost of this blunder isn't just philosophical, it's financial, with real-world implications for every player and owner in the league. Let's talk numbers and direct economic impact. Caitlin Clark's arrival caused a seismic shift in the WNBA's economy, creating financial windfalls that were previously unimaginable. Indiana Fever jersey sales exploded, becoming top sellers across the entire league almost overnight, outselling established veterans by a huge margin. Ticket prices for their games skyrocketed, with some seats on the secondary market seeing a 500% increase, and road games suddenly became must-see
I said
events,
the buzz
selling
from
out
the players.
arenas nationwide. The league's media deals and
No, y'all are
television
trying to get past me.
negotiations
Huge.
suddenly became exponentially more valuable because
By the way, Allie and
broadcasters and
outstanding
partners
point
knew
guard
she
in her own
was
right
a
in
guaranteed
Fulton,
ratings
Mississippi.
magnet, a player who could draw viewers who had never watched a
All-state.
women's
Thanks for
game
having me
before.
here. Yeah. Good luck.
She is,
In that
without
sport as well.
exaggeration, a one-woman economic stimulus package for the sport. Yet by refusing to fully lean into her stardom and build marketing campaigns around her, the WNBA is leaving an unimaginable amount of money on the table. Major corporate sponsorships, global branding opportunities, and new fan engagement initiatives are being squandered due to this hesitation. Every time they present a Rookie of the Year award in a deserted gym or downplay her achievements, they send a subconscious message to corporate partners that they don't fully value their biggest draw, making those partners question the league's confidence in its own stars. Meanwhile, the LPGA is reaping the rewards, enjoying a surge of attention, credibility, and future sponsorship interest thanks to their willingness to embrace her influence and boldly showcase her to the world. What makes the situation even more profound is that Caitlin's impact stretches far beyond the hardwood or the fairway. She has become a living, breathing symbol for the entire movement of women's sports, a catalyst for a cultural shift decades in the making. Her participation in events like the Women's Leadership Summit, where she speaks passionately about empowering the next generation, shows an athlete who understands the platform she's been given. She isn't just a basketball player who showed up to play golf. She's a multi-sport ambassador who unites different fan bases under the universal banner of athletic excellence and opportunity. This role transcends statistics and trophies. It's about being a visible, powerful representation of what happens when talent meets opportunity. And she carries that mantle with a sense of responsibility that resonates with fans of all ages and genders.
No, y'all are
The
trying to get past me.
LPGA, with
Somebody
sharp
take this
instinct,
picture.
recognize this larger
By the way,
cultural
Allie, an
role
outstanding
and not
point
only
guard in her own
celebrated
right
it,
in
but
Fulton,
actively
Mississippi.
partnered with it. They saw her not as a visitor from another sport,
All-state.
but as a beacon of what women's athletics
that
can
sport as
achieve
well.
when it commands the spotlight it deserves. They understood that her presence was a key to unlocking opportunities for everyone, creating a halo effect that benefits all female athletes. It was a display of intersport solidarity that fans found refreshing and inspiring. The WNBA, by contrast, seems trapped in a narrower, outdated perspective, treating her as just a rookie who happens to be exceptionally good at shooting threes. A remarkable talent to be managed rather than a paradigm-shifting phenomenon to be unleashed. This failure to see the bigger picture, to comprehend that they have a once-in-a-generation icon whose appeal could redefine the league's place in mainstream culture, is perhaps the most damning aspect of this saga. They are, as the saying goes, missing the forest for the trees, so preoccupied with internal politics, perceived equity, and controlled narratives that they fail to see the revolution happening right outside their door. This isn't about marketing one player. It's about seizing a historic moment to cement the commercial viability and cultural permanence of women's basketball. History shows us that leagues are often defined by transcended stars, figures so big they become synonymous with the sport itself. This Michael Jordan effect doesn't diminish the league. It provides the foundation for everything else, creating a rising tide that lifts all boats. By not embracing this, the WNBA isn't just making a tactical error, it's risking a historical misstep. Fans' frustration isn't just about a poorly staged award ceremony. It's about the terrifying thought that this golden opportunity, this surge of energy and interest could be wasted, and that the league might retreat back to beach status, wondering what could have been. The LPGA, its brilliant maneuvering, has shown them the blueprint for success. The question now is whether the WNBA has the vision and courage to finally read it. So, where does this leave us? The LPGA has delivered a masterclass in modern sports marketing, a case study in how to leverage a cultural moment for the benefit of an entire sport. Meanwhile, the WNBA has been handed a devastating and public wake-up call, a lesson in what happens when hesitation and internal conflict override strategic opportunity. The contrast couldn't be more stark, playing out in real time for the world to see. One league saw a rising tide and built a harbor to welcome it, understanding that the surge could lift every boat in its fleet. The other saw the same historic tide and built a wall, a defensive move that only highlighted their fear of the change that could save them. The footage from the Pro AM, filled with genuine smiles, heartfelt celebration, and mutual respect, stands in shocking opposition to reports of frustration, resentment, and missed opportunities emanating from the basketball world. The question is no longer whether the WNBA has a problem, but whether it has the self-awareness and agility to fix it. Will they learn from their counterparts in golf, swallowing their pride to adopt a proven, successful strategy? Will they finally understand the fundamental economic truth that promoting a singular superstar doesn't diminish the league? It creates a gravitational pull that elevates everyone in its orbit, driving salaries, sponsorships, and media relevance to unprecedented heights. The future growth, relevance, and financial health of the entire WNBA may depend on the answer. This is more than a PR dilemma. It's a crossroads moment that will define the league's trajectory for the next decade. The ball is now unmistakably in their court. If you've made it this far, you've seen the full picture. Let us know in the comments. Do you think the WNBA will finally change its strategy, or has the moment already passed them by? What would you do if you were in charge? And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we'll be the first to tell you what happens next in this unfolding sports drama.